Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirosho here and now. Before we get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of things happening. Now, Deku and Indra, these two, they were free from being gladiators. And they were happy. They traveled for a few days and rested. Deku had a goal in mind to reach, and they finally did it. They traveled to a city that apparently was not only home to a mimic, one very large and powerful, it also had an event quest, the City of the Mimic. Now, Deku found it quite strange that he could not manipulate the ground with his newly mastered geomagic. However, he did find that he can pull from the ground very strangely. He eventually learned the entire city itself is a mimic. Him and Indra, they managed to strike a deal with it. They would take its eggs, the clutch of them, and release them on the material plane. In exchange, they'll use the portal in the city. He'll activate it and they'll go through it. The mimic agreed to this, and they found themselves in the land of Bytopia. It was odd. It was strange. They are out of the Underdark. The light here was blinding when they first saw it, but the view they got, the air they breathed, the smells they smelled, were heavenly to them. Now, they eventually found a town, and when they arrived, people were wary of them. They were two scary-looking strangers who were dirty, filthy, and looked not only strong, but potentially evil, especially with the cursed power coming off of Izuku. They eventually then met the mayor, who was also a fellow dragonkin, one of Indra's people, the child of a dragon and another race. Now, this meant quite a bit. She managed to talk to the man and ask her a bunch of questions, getting them sidetracked before they finally were able to stop by an inn, where Deku, him and Indra, they rested together. After the harsh battles, after all the harsh challenges they've had, they had their rest. In Izuku's mind, it was calm. It was quiet. He managed to push that power back down. The bottled up energy that always tries to boil over. And Izuku, he does find himself waking up the next morning. He's got a lot on his mind. He doesn't believe it when he does get to open his eyes. He's in an inn. He smells some really good food cooking. Oh, please tell him that that's something beef and oh, that's some sort of pie? It feels great. He does attempt to try and sit up. However, the beautiful redhead to his right does have an arm draped over his chest, and he does attempt to try and pull her free. However, she does have someone dig her hand around him, trying to pull him in closer since she is still a bit cold. And that, Deku does want to let a bit of a laugh by, before fully sitting up and going to turn, reaching down and going to try and grab his shirt. Indra waking up herself and beginning to yawn, rolling over as Deku, he does a turn, smacking her in the back with the back of his hand and telling her, "It's morning already. 5 more minutes. Alright, fine. But I think you might miss breakfast. I definitely know I plan to eat a lot of food. I might just eat this place out of business." Her sniffing the air, for immediately bolting upright and turning, asking if he thinks that there's going to be meat. I do. I'm also looking forward to some pie. Something really good. Do you think they have apple pie? I hope they have apple pie. The two jumping to their feet and going to head out. Right now when they do get downstairs, people, they do just stare at them. someone walking over and asks them what they like. And when they ask for one of everything, they do get an odd look. The person going to accept the payment from Izuku. And when they do see that Deku drops 2 gold coins in their hands, they get to work a little fast. Right now, them getting a few things prepared and setting the table. And they do begin to eat. Now, let's currently cut over to a man who is walking down the street and is trying to get everything ready for what they do know they need to talk about. It's going to be very complex. It's going to be a strange conversation. It's going to be an odd one, but they're hoping to talk to these adventurers, these travelers from another realm, about a potential problem. They're powerful. Quite so, in fact. And it has them worried. It's been some time since someone of power has been on this plane. They are strong, but it is potentially a bad idea. The man going to step into a tavern and right now going to stare at Deku and Indra. Deku, he currently is gnawing on a giant bone with meat on it as he does go to take mouthfuls of it down his gullet. And Indra, she currently is wolfing down some sort of pie in her hand. And he does go to stare on, looking towards some people as they do go to look towards him, going to wave their hands, showing not to try and interfere. And someone they do to walk over, setting down a pitcher of water as Deku does a turn, grabbing it and beginning to down it down his gullet. And they do to stare on watching that. Before the man does a walk over and go to knock on the table. Deku turning his head as he's to bring his hand up, blocking the man from intending to try and grab some of the food he does have set down. Slow down. You act as if you've not eaten in days. Sorry, it's just him swallowing the food in his mouth. It's been a long time since we had some good food. We had some in the Underdark, but that's a long story. Stuff didn't taste the same, and this stuff here, it is way better than I remember. I mean, it almost tastes exactly like it might even be better. Though I think that's just us not having food like this in a while. Him looking at Indra, talking about it. It might be that. Though they did work up quite a bit of an appetite. All that fighting, it does wear you down. I mean, it's just been a long time since they've relaxed like this. Does he get it? Trust me, I understand. You've been asleep for a bit of time. Have we? You've been asleep for about 3 days. 3 days? Yes. We sent someone to check up on you, but you were not responsive. We thought that something may have happened to you, but you were not happy to be woken up the first time. I see. Apologies if something happened. No, it is quite alright. Breaching through a dimension like that, it must have put you in a deep slumber. Him shaking his head, talking about it. They used a portal. And that's another story. Maybe a longer one. I see. I did not properly introduce myself. I'm Dragam. It is nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. I'm assuming your mayor wants to speak to us? Yes, you very well might. Though, I assume you're going to be staying with us for some time. Actually, we may not. Him rubbing the back of his neck and trying to talk about it. They kind of came here on a bit of a whim. He's not sure why. Other than Aurora told them to. That's all she really did give him. That and a strange bit of information that he's not sure he can really help with. Perhaps I can. Is there anything going on with dragons in this realm? Dragons? Yes, dragons. I mean, I've heard that realms have different dragons, but I don't know. I mean, the Feywild has fairy dragons, and Shadowfell has shadow dragons. Are there any in this land? What do they have to do with your quest? I'm supposed to find one. I see. I may know of one, but I do not know what it would have to do with your quest. It would be very helpful if you could point me to it. Are you sure you may not need to speak to the mayor? Maybe. It can't be a coincidence we only run into one other of my kind, and he's here, Izuku. Maybe you're right. We can go. We probably should go now. Hey, I still need to finish the rest of this pie. Him turning to Indra, who does still have about a fourth of it left. And he does turn to the guy, talking about it. Give them a few minutes. They'll probably be here for a couple. Turning back to his food. The man, he does go to step outside and wait. And the two, they do come out a little while later, a bit more cleaned up, and not as messy looking as he saw them before. Deku, he does wear a red top, and it does go to fit well with the trousers he was given. He does look like a proper man, though his sizable bulk, it can be seen through the shirt. And the dude in front of Izuku can tell. He may need a different shirt. For right now, it will work, but clearly his armor might be what he's better fitted towards. And he does a nod at Deku as the two, they do to walk down the road, people staring at them. He's well aware that there's still the outsiders, and people might be wary. But when they do get to the mayor's house, the man does get a knock on the door again. The two going to be set there as he does a walk away, informing them about what to do. Do not cause problems and speak kindly to the man. He's been in charge of this town for a long time. Him going to leave. And whenever the dragon man does get a knock on the door, they do go to watch on. Right now, him going to open it up, and he does a talk about it. It's nice to see them again. He's assuming that they are done resting. Yes, we are. How are you? I've been quite fine. So, what is it? Dragum told us that you needed our help. I see. No, he was speaking on my behalf. I am Dragum. I'm a little confused here. I see how you would be. I knew the young man's father. I've been in charge of this town for quite a long time, as you understand. His father named his son after me. I saved his life. I see. Yes, it is quite funny. People often mistake his orders as mine, and some more reckless do mistake my orders for his. It has caused quite the confusion over the years, but I do find it to be interesting. Something I do have to pass the time. About that, I did want to ask. About? Well, we're a bit on a quest. I hope you understand. I do. You wish to ask something of me. You do not need to be polite, young man. I have been alive for centuries. I would rather get down to business if that is what you would like. Okay. Do you know any other dragons on this plane? Are you hunting them? Him giving Izuku a quizzical look. No. Well, not if I don't have to. I'm just trying to understand something I was told by Aurora. And that would be to track down some dragons. Track down a steel dragon? I see. His face dropping. That might be a more difficult task. They do, I think, one does live on this plane. I am aware of that much. I remember meeting one in my youth, long ago. But that is another problem. He, well, yes, I believe it was a man. Steel dragons tend to live among humans. Live among them, live through them. They're quite curious about how species operate. I believe for a number of years one lived in this town. They were quite nice, polite. And when they moved on, they understood my wariness of having them here. I see. Yes. He was quite an older man, even by my standards. I believe he is of an ancient. Really? Yes. But that is another issue. Long ago he had a friend. I believe she died. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Unfortunate. She fought with a very powerful entity, and she nearly killed it. It took out her and her army. She was not happy to find out that she failed. She was the last of her kind. If there are any more out there, then perhaps they have fled to other planes. What are you talking about? She was an adamantine dragon. Deku's staring at the man, his skill dinging with the information from what he was saying. And Izuku, he does want mentally note that that didn't happen until after he stopped talking. So that information, it does help him out. Adamantine dragons? Yes, and steel dragons. I only know of one other dragon that does live on this plane. But I believe he may be in hiding. If he does still live in that cave of his, then he will not be that hard to talk to, let alone find. Although, well, that may be another issue entirely. Okay. But I'm confused. They were fighting something. She was. He didn't bother trying to fight it. He was more curious with his works, but he lost a friend. And that hurt him. I believe he is nearing his end. Last time I saw him was over 80 years ago. And that's not long. It is not. Well, now. Him going to stand up and walk out of the room. Going to come back a minute later with a map in hand. Walking over to the table and talking about it. If Aura is guiding their hand, then they do need to know. Pointing to their city. It being marked on the map very clearly. They are currently here. And there is a mountaintop about here, where the two worlds do interconnect. It does run that high, on both sides. They have seen the pillars around? We have. Yes, they're quite hard to miss. Yes. We do have some smaller species of dragon that do live there, but not very powerful. So, you do understand my concern. I do. Good. Whenever you do find this dragon, just know this. He may be annoying, he may be hard to talk to, and he may be very dangerous for you, even by your standards, Slayer. I understand. But do you think that we can convince him to help us out? I'm sure you can. Though be ready for things not to go as you do have planned. Him nodding his head. And right now, he does go to point it out. About here. It is a few miles away. Though, be careful of the ocean. They do not need to fight the Kraken. Okay, we can handle that. Yes, do avoid it. I would also be careful. You are hiding your magical pressure, correct? Yes. It's, hard to miss. Good. May Aurora guide your hand. And safe journeys. If you do need to return here, you do have a place. Him holding out his arm and going to shake Deku's. And right now his strength does betray the lines on his face. He has the vitality of a young man. The strength in his arm does tell him that much. That blood of his is making sure he doesn't die an early death. And he does his own smile, showing off his proud teeth. For he does a shake into his arm and tell her, if she ever has questions, and she's still on this plane, she may find them here. She's tried to find many other members of their species. Not a lot of them do exist. Do you know of any others? No, I do not, sadly. I have been on this plane for a long time. I even believe I was born here. I simply just left and came back one day. How? That is a long story. A man came here one day and he had a device capable of allowing us to breach. Deku turning. What are you talking about? Yes. It was a strange magical item. Magical items can breach through planes? Deku's staring at the guy, asking if he knows where one might be. If one exists on this plane. If at all. I mean, that type of device, it could help them now. He knows what he's talking about. A person he knows, a person he's met, they have something like that. But it's on a belt. I see. How do you know it does this? Because he took me to another plane myself. He took me to the abyss. The man falling silent, his expression changing. I see. Were you not there long? Him nodding his head. Before he does go to express. They may leave now. Be on their way. Him nodding and going to leave. And this old man, he does go to sit there for a minute, relishing in the fact that something very clear is happening. The material plane may be in danger. However, something else is going on here. If that young man is who he thinks it is, then Aurora may have chosen correctly. There is a rage in his heart. There is a rage in his eyes, but there is also a softness. There is something else there. He's something else, esoteric in nature. And right now, the two, they do get their gear back on, going to leave as people do to stare at them as they fly away. And Izuku, he does try to mentally prep himself for another battle with another dragon, wondering what this one might do. Though he is still quite curious about an adamantine dragon. Is there a chance he's run into one before? I mean, maybe? He's heard of a lot of different types of dragons, but a steel dragon too. That's another one. It's just so powerful. I mean, living life as a human, that sounds like what Atrig's doing. He has a home. He has a place for Indra. And then there's Besla. She also does have a humanoid form. He doesn't know much about her or Atrig, but if they're doing the same thing that steel dragons are doing, then it's incredible. And this thought does pass through his head, as there is with the two do go to arrive at the location. Deku looking around and going to look up, seeing the city that he talked about, turning his head and following the mountain, going to fly that direction as Indra does go to catch up. Her asking about the plan, and Izuku does try to think of one. Fight it, kill it, and learn the information. And that's the best he's kind of got at this moment. And right now, they do go to see the large cavern where the dragon should be living. And they do go to fly down. Him ready and going to draw his blades. As he's a step in and go to whistle out. And there is where a sound can be heard. Him hearing the massive stomping of the creature. And he does go to watch on. It going to step out from behind a massive rock wall. And he does this stare at it. Before it does get a turn, looking its eyes directly at him. And its eyes are full of intelligence. But its skin. Him backing away as the beast does go to come out into the light. It hasn't fired its attack yet. So what's it doing? My, visitors after so long. Sorry, the place is a little dirty. Excuse me? My, I do see that you have weapons. Slayers. Well now, one at a time, please. I feel so popular. Him looking at Indra, and she does go look back at him. You're a dragon, yes. Before it does, go to shrink down into a humanoid form. The man with pink hair going to express the draconic horns on his head. Sorry. It does tend to like doing that trick. People do run away. Not many do like his true form. Please, come in. Hold on. You are a dragon. Yes, I am. Was the part where you saw me stomp out here not clear enough? I could do it again. Maybe add some flair to it this time. No, that's fine. That's fine. Him shaking his head. Okay, is the curse active? Okay, usually he just sees really nightmarish things, not silly things. This is a silly dragon. He's not being serious at all. I'm sorry. Who are you? You're the one knocking on my door. You don't have a door. Fair enough, fair enough. You're the one slamming on the wall. I believe I should talk to you, however. Slayers, though. I have not seen your kind in so long. I. Hmm. No, I haven't had a human name in some time. Perhaps you can help me out here. I'm not sure. How about. Hmm. Sorry, you're catching me completely out of left field here. It's just. I don't know. Come on now. I'm sure you could do better than that. There must be a clear reason as to why you are here. There is. We're trying to find the other dragons. Other dragons? Are you trying to hunt them down? No. Listen, it's. It's another long story. We're from different planes. Both of you. No, well, yes, but we're both from the material plane. Well, are you both, or only one of you? Now I see what Jorgen mentioned whenever you said you were talkative. Oh, you spoke with Jorgen. How is he doing? Is he still alive? He is. Maybe just a bit cranky, but. How about Jack? I'll call you Jack. Does that work? Jack. I like this name. I may use it for a few centuries. Though, that is another story. Why exactly are you here? Listen, Jack. Aurora has given me a quest. She wanted me to find a steel dragon. Aurora sent you on a quest. Why didn't you lead with that? The man turning, inviting them into the cave as Deku does look at Indra. And she does go to stare at him, not sure even what to say at all. This guy is a dragon. I mean, he's a pink dragon. Deku going to check his level. And whenever he does go to see his level, he does stare at it for a second. Level 367. That's a pretty big level. Huh. Okay then. Them stepping inside the cave. And Jack, he does continue to talk. And talk. And talk and talk. Only do go to finally step into what looks like a proper place, he does go to look around. There's not really much here. There's a lot of random junk that looks like it was stolen from some towns, and, well, a house. But he's fairly certain that's just a part of the cave he carved in. Okay. Him stepping in the corridor and beginning to mention. So they are here for something from Aura? Yes. I got to meet her myself. I see. I'm quite jealous of that. Well then, how would I be able to help you out? Well, Jack, we're trying to find the steel dragon. We heard that the adamantine one died a long time ago with her, I guess, compatriots. Yes, it is quite unfortunate. She led an army into battle, and it did not go well for her. Led an army? Yes. She was a very good person. Dragon. Potato. I see. I'm sorry, she led an army of people. Yes, are you having trouble following that? I'm finding it hard to believe as well. I see. Yes, I believe it would possibly be hard to wrap your mind around. Though, the people on this plane have not seen that for a long time. What do you mean? Well, the fortress, it is about 3 days of a fly. Exactly that way on the other plane. Him pointing in the direction. Before he does a turn and try to think about where they are underground. Perhaps I'm wrong. If you head south, I believe. No, wait, the ocean is south. East? Which way did you come from here? We can show you the map, okay? Ah, yes, that may be better help. I didn't always have a bad sense of direction. Deku, trying to think. Okay, he's fairly certain this is real. I mean, the last couple of days have felt a bit real, but at the same time, he's not sure. He was asleep for a while, then he woke up. Okay, either this is the strangest illusion he's ever seen, and things are going to turn violent in a minute, or this is actually happening. He's dealt with illusions this real before, but him bring up his hand, and right now, he does try to think. Nope, never mind, that may not even work. You okay? Punch me in the face? What? Sorry, it's just. He's real, right? I'm not hallucinating? I'd say I'm not crazy, but. Oh no, you're definitely crazy, and so is all this. Are you two talking about me? Yes. Without me? Okay. Her trying to talk to him again. And whenever they do finally get sit down, the man does begin a story. Him happy to have their attention and trying to talk about it. It was about what? Over a century, 2, maybe 3, that everything kind of did happen. The steel dragon, he remembers him. Zarnath. That was his name. And then there was the Toth. She was busy dealing with the threat that popped up on the plane. Sometimes things from other planes do tend to wind up here. That's how he kind of showed up at some point. And so did the Kraken. After all that happened, there was a whole thing where, well, he met Zarnath. They thought he was a threat, but he wasn't, and that's why he was allowed to stay here. But apparently, the adamantine dragons were having some trouble. They were eventually able to weaken it, and during the last final push, they were able to get the Kraken to retreat. But it did cost them Latoth. She died in battle. And she did not have many spawn. What do you mean? Well, she had eggs at some point, I believe. And I do not know what happened to them. I don't know if they ever hatched, but in my time, I've never seen one of their kind. Again, she may have been the last. If her nest is still around, then I do not believe they survived. His head lowering. And that does tell Deku one thing. That's a somber moment for him. What about Zarnath? I'm not sure. I may point you to the fortress, and perhaps you may find clues there. Maybe cause a stir? I do not know. You may check his lair, but his lair would be a town he resides in. And I don't think he'd interfere unless absolutely necessary. He didn't before when a Kraken showed up. He left it to her. Okay, that makes more sense. This is gonna be a wild goose chase, isn't it? Perhaps, but they were close friends, even if they did live different lives. Were they? Perhaps. If I remember correctly, then, well, in the event of my death. No, it wasn't like that. It was some sort of oath, but I'm not sure. Oath? Wait, what about an oath? Well, it was that. An oath of some kind, I'm not sure. Him looking to at Indra, informing the man, Jack. Where is it? Pointing down at the map as his eyes do begin to glow blue. And Jack does lean forwards and point, talking about it. It would be there. However, he does need to know one thing. What? Why are you looking for him? I'm trying to find my way home. I'm not sure. Perhaps he has a magical artifact we need. But I think I know why we're looking for him now. There's a prophecy. Did he break his oath? What? Did he break his oath? I believe so. Then that's him. Indra, we found the Oathbreaker. Her getting to her feet. And the man, he does to watch the two quickly move off, going to leave as you thank him for the information. And he does get somewhat look down, annoyed that the guests he finally had are gone. Though it does seem a little somber to him. Going to bring his hands up and go to think. Now, with that being said, Deku and Indra, they do go to depart, moving out and on to their journey. They are off to find this man, this beast. If they can find him, then they can get some answers. Okay, he came here from another plane. If that's the case, then maybe he knows how to get back? Is that why they're supposed to find him? Does he have the artifact that was mentioned? And the two do to make their way over to this fortress. They do to find it. It's a beautiful place. It's on top of a mountain. And it does have a mirror image. Something on both sides. The two of them, they do begin a search on the side they're on. And it does seem rather odd. What they do to find is weapons, gear, other things. Stuff that has been left untouched for centuries, perhaps. Adamantine blades, adamantine weaponry. And Izuku, he does take some of it. He does find a mace. He does find a spear. I mean, it's incredible. He does try to think about it, though. What else could they do here? Him going to look down, making his way down another set of stairs, and trying to think about where they could be at. He does try to search. And on one side of this place, they don't find it. But they do to fly up. And he's trying to think about how things work there. Though whenever gravity does get a shift, both him and Indra, they do begin to fall. Quite alarmed, as they do have to take a second to try and readjust themselves with their magic spell. When they do to land, they do begin to search again. Find the same thing, however, this time, the staircase does lead further down. And they do get to make their way into a cavern. Something large and massive. And Izuku does use evaluation. And whenever he doesn't see question mark, question mark, question mark, he does go to someone smile, well aware that he sees it. They might have found Zarnith. Okay. How to approach him though? Okay, so maybe I have an idea. Is it a good one? No, but it's crazy, so it's a little fitting. Do you trust me? I shouldn't, should I? I have no idea at this point. The last couple of days has been a little crazy. Yeah, it has. Her gonna think. Right now, giving him a bit of a smile. Him making his way down the corridor as his footsteps do get a somewhat echo. Right now, him going to step into a massive cave system that opens up. And the ancient steel dragon does get to lay there, asleep. And he does get a turn, looking around and seeing a few things. His eyes are focused on it. It's a beautiful creature, powerful. He's not sure if he's supposed to slay it, but maybe not. Okay, but how to wake it up? Zardith. It going to somewhat move its eyes. It going to blink them in his sleep. And he does it to raise his hands before widening them apart and going to slam them together. And whenever his immense strength does collide with his hands, they do going to make a sound louder than a thunder strike. And when that sound is an echo through the cavern, he does go to flinch, well aware that the echo could have woke a slumbering giant. And it does just that. The beast having its eyes shoot open, as it does go to raise its large head and turn looking down. And whenever it does see a dragon slayer sitting before it, it does go to stare at him. Taking a second to readjust, the memories of its previous lives rushing through their brain. Why have you disturbed me, Slayer? It's saying the last part as if it's a question. You're Zardith. I must speak with you. Of what importance is it? Can't you see I'm trying to live my remaining years, slumbering away? I can see that. Listen, I've heard about you. You have. Do you wish to try and slay me? No. I have a greater task for you. Task? Do you really think you can order me to do something? I do not follow orders. No, but these aren't my orders. Aurora wished for me to speak to you. I have crossed plains to do so. Crossed plains? But you haven't. I see. This day has finally arrived. I had a feeling it must have. I see. Now this is something else. To be part of a prophecy. To be part of something like this. Perhaps the gods do look down on me, even though I am been damned by one. You say that, but Aurora, she told me to find you. She did. Why? I don't know. You may hold the key to bring me back home. I do not. I have nothing. This is not my lair. This is not my hoard. None of it is mine to give. It was my friend's, and she has long since passed. Now leave. Allow me to slumber. Where are her eggs? Him turning to look at Deku, and the gaze he is going to fix him with does show a bit more anger. Is that what you're after? No. We can make a deal. Please. There's no adamantine dragons left on this plane, right? None at all? That would be correct. I've searched for centuries for another. How many did she have? She had 5 before her passing. I believe she knew of her death. She asked me to take care of them. I failed her. You did not. What do you mean? I have spent centuries attempting to try and fix my mistake. Allow me to pass on and reincarnate. I will learn this. Perhaps get it right this time. And if you don't, then I will repeat the cycle. I will do what I must. Perhaps I will see my friend again in another life. Perhaps so. But what if I told you I could fix your problem? I can make sure when you see her again, you fulfilled your oath. Do not take me for a fool, human. I may be interested in your ways, but that does not mean I am gullible. I do not expect that. I have learned magics. Look at me. I'm a planeswalker. You are not a planeswalker. But if you can fulfill your oath, what you swear to me, then I believe I know how to help you. Break my curse. Yes. That may be why she sent you to me. Him shrinking down. And when he does take on the appearance of an old man, he does stare at that. Him turning and holding his hand out to the area behind him, where a large pile of rocks does get to sit, and Deku does get to stare at them. They're the eggs. Wow. He thought for a second those were meteorites, but they're all the same size and the pattern on them is similar. Repeating. They've been gone for centuries. Now, if you will, show me what you're talking about. Him making his way over, and he does go look around. Before he does go to bring his hand up, and a magic circle does get created underneath it. Before, it does form directly above it as well. And he does go to do one thing. He does go to begin an incantation and use the resurrection spell. And whenever he does so, the man has to stare on. Watching as Deku, he does go to take a breath for a second and try to gain his bearing. In this, it is met by a system informing him of a unique reward. Completing the challenge for using resurrection, experience has been gained. And Deku, he is happy to hear that, as he does go to stare on, the egg beginning to move, and the old man's face doesn't show outright horror for a second, before it does turn to joy, as a sound he has not expected to hear does echo through the cavern, and the egg does begin to hatch. A small creature beginning to poke its head through, looking directly at Izuku before turning its head and looking directly at Zardith. And he does get to stare at the creature. It's going to break its way free and going to chirp out, making its way over to Deku and going to nuzzle him in the leg. Him bringing his hand down and patting it on its head. Turning to the old man. Do we have a deal? Him picking up the small dragon, holding it as he does stare on. Amazed. Light returning to his eyes. And he does nod his head. Deku just brought back an extinct species. And they have 5 chances. This, well apparent in the man's tone. We must work fast. How many more times can you use that spell? It's quite a powerful ability. Maybe I can resurrect all 5 today, but what will we do? What we plan to do is simple. We are going to have to convert your power to essence. You want me to use cultivation? Yes. But it is going to be an advanced form. Advanced form? The man turning to Indra. Yes. It is quite dangerous. Whereas you'd begin using your method to cultivate yourself, over time, centuries it would take, you would eventually fully turn power to essence. We do not have that luxury with you. I know a way to speed up the process. Dangerous. And quite brutal. It will be agonizing pain. Pain I can deal with. Time I can't. There's a war brewing on the material plane. I see. The dragon nuzzling into Deku's shoulder as he does bring up something in his hand, feeding the dragon as it does a bite down on the slip of meat he has given it. And the dragon does go to try and chirp out between chomps. Him going to look back up at Zarnith. I will get things prepared. Know this. If you do resurrect all 5 now, you will not have the proper energy for this. You may resurrect them later. Understand? I do. Are you sure? Him looking at Indra. This is dangerous. If it's been deemed too dangerous for dragons, Deku, then what about you? It is fine. What do you mean? I will make sure he does not die. You can't know that for certain. I can. The process will begin. Once it does, it will take time for your convergence. But afterwards, you will be something more. Him nodding his head. Before he says set down the small baby dragon. And he does get a turn. Watching the older one begin to bring his hand up. And he does watch as magic does begin to carve its way through the stone. It beginning to pop up with magical sigils. Some in languages Deku does understand. And he does stare at them. Watching the draconic words begin to expand and change. And this, it does keep his interest. Though, it does make him a bit more wary. Watching how intricate these spell works do to get, does have Deku a little concerned. And the man he does tell Izuku if he does have a way to replenish his mana to do so. And he does go to sip from his canteen and empty the thing down, turning and handing it over to Indra, who does it hold it, and he does it tell her, "This is going to be dangerous." Like hell it is. You know what you're doing? Yeah, something stupid. I need this curse broken. I know. Do you trust me? I do. Him pulling her into a kiss, and she does it to grab Deku by his armor. The kiss is deep. It's loving. And she does go to stare when he is going to pull away. Listen, I'm not going to die. You better not. If you do, then know this. I'm going to kick your ass. Fair enough. I'll owe you that much. You better. Him stepping into the circle. And the dragon does inform him. This is going to be very painful. Bringing his hands up and going to tell Izuku. When he does activate the magical power, begin to channel himself. Does he understand? Him nodding and beginning to do so. The power around the circle, it does begin to glow. And Deku, he does it to watch on. Right now, him going to stare at it as his power does begin to empty itself completely from him. He does it to feel it be pulled out of him. In the process, it is surprising to him. It's not as painful as he thought. And the man does stare on Izuku before he does begin to feel something. Right now, him going to bring his hand up his armor, it doesn't disappear. And he does go to scream out in pain, thinking about it. The man, he does it to watch on. Indra asking about what the hell's happening as he does to talk about it. This is going to be time consuming. And right now, it's going to hurt. He does have a curse from below. He is going to be feeling this quite intensely. Whenever it does happen, he is going to feel a lot. I understand, but what about his curse? It'll break. However, I do want you to understand. Him gesturing to the other eggs. I want him alive to bring them back. Her glaring at him. The old man does a turn, making his way over to the baby dragon. And whenever he does it to pick it up, he does watch it begin to chirp out and look at him. Before, he does say something out in Draconic to the baby. And he is quite happy to meet it. It is a beautiful thing, what's happening right now. And Indra does sit there as Deku, he does it roar out in pain. He does feel something making its way through his being like a knife. Something slicing, stabbing, cutting, and everything, it does hurt. And right now, that is how the days do go by. The next several days, Deku does spend in the circle. He does scream his voice hoarse. He does sweat profusely. And she does hear him collapse unconscious before waking up screaming. Sometimes it's a gamble. Though, she does feel this strange energy pouring around Deku. And he does feel his curse beginning to break. But that, it feels like his mind trying to shatter all over again. It feels like something dipping its way through his mind and trying to hack away at everything. It hurts. It truly and utterly does hurt for the first time in so long. It's pain he's feeling. And this, Deku both hates and he doesn't know how to feel about. It's been a long time since he's felt proper pain, since he's felt proper anything. And right now, there is after 9 days. Indra does a step into the room. She does turn her head and see Izuku. He does float there in the air, his eyes glowing as his head is leaned backwards. Presumably he's unconscious, and the energy surrounding him is glowing brightly. The runes are glowing. And his power, it does a funnel out of his mouth and out of his eyes, snaking its way around his body and through his heart, before it does begin to pour back into him. And then she does go to feel it. Right now, her going to feel a massive boom that does echo through the magic. And right now, Deku, he has it collapsed to the ground. Him with his eyes rolled back in his head. And Indra, she has to stagger to her feet and rush over, trying to find out what happened to Izuku. And she has to bend down, reaching out and grabbing for him. He's Izuku? Her bring her hand up, going to grab him by the side of the face and trying to get him to look at her. Izuku, this isn't funny. Come on. Come on. Her smashing him in the chest. And it doesn't do anything. Right now, Indra staring down horrified. No. No. Did it not work? Her lowering herself down to hear his heartbeat. His heart isn't on. It's not beating. It's not making a sound. I'm trying to think. Looking at his eyes and seeing that they are still off. No, he's not focused. Her going to bring her hand up and pull the bandana off of his forehead. And the symbol for the curse, it's gone. It's gone. Though, she just won't sit there. Right now, her pulling Deku into a hug and going to begin to have tears streaming down the side of her face. And the old man does come walking into the room. He felt that. He felt something shift. Though, right now, he does want to know what just happened. Her turning to the old man, rage in her eyes. This is your fault. It should have worked. What happened? Her going to lower him down to the ground carefully and stand with rage, walking over and trying to punch him across the face. Though if he does to catch her blow, he does go to stare at her. And she does begin to roar out with anger, screaming at him, yelling. And the man can tell that she's hysterical. He does understand. The young man was esoteric, different. It should have worked. His eyes drifting at Deku, as right now his eyes do to shoot open, and they do begin to pour with a magic power. Him staring at Izuku, as right now his eyes, they do go to bleed blue energy. It forming up and around him. Indra staring at him for hearing that noise, turning to look behind her and watching his Deku, his body, it's floating there. His hands going spread apart as he dangle behind him and vanish. And just like that, glowing, emitting noise, and floating, he's gone. His body disappeared. And this, it does go to concern her. Whatever just happened, was magical, and it happened to him. When Kirishima died, did that happen to him? No, no. She's never seen a death like that. And whenever she does have that thought, she has to turn her head. We're now feeling something shift as the old man does turn his head as well, taking notice to it. And we do currently have back somewhere else. Right now, someone, they're walking through the woods. They've got a lot on their mind. Things aren't too dangerous here. They're safe. Right now, they do have some guards patrolling. And their little village, it's okay. Things don't often happen too much around here. That currently on the kid's mind. Right now, turning his head and looking off of the mountain. And they do to wonder. Some of the nights that they've heard about, some of the adults, they do get a run out here. Some do want to train and go to the capital one day. Others, they talk about trying to become adventurers. And a booming sound can be heard. Before the kid does that turn and go to look to the right. Right now, someone crashing down hard with a thud to shake the ground. And they do to run over and see a man sitting in a crater. Right now, him going to open his eyes and begin to blink. Before he does go look up, seeing a blue sky. Going to feel pain. Oh my god. Mister? I'm looking up. Are you okay? Where am I? We're out in the forest. It's the sky. Yeah, it's the sky. Good. Him collapsing backwards into the ground. And right now, the kid does a run off. A man just fell from the sky. And he's hurt. But the markings on his chest, they've read about them in stories before. And right now that kid runs back to their village with a lot of pep in their step. Since a dragon slayer just crashed down in the middle of the woods. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.